Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to Drawing with Mr. Sepulveda. I'm Mr. Sepulveda, and on today's episode, we're going to do another superhero randomizer where we spin two wheels, one for superpowers and a second one for character type, and we mash them together to create an original hero. So last video, we were able to create this character based on a magic superpower and an alien character type. She doesn't have a name, so boys and girls, I need your help. Use the comment section down below to submit in a name for this hero, and I'll choose the best one amongst the comment section, and we'll officially name her in the next video. Also, for this video, we've got a superhero, so if you want to leave a name for our superhero today, do the same thing. Leave it in the comments below, and I'll choose the best one amongst them, and I'll give you guys credit for sure in the next video as we announce this character's name. Alright, so most of this video is going to be time-lapse, guys, outside of the wheel the wheels that I'm going to spin. I'll narrate over it, so this way it's not as lengthy, but if you have a superhero that you're going to create based on the prompts and you want to submit it in, just click the My Links icon in my YouTube banner and click the email icon, and I'll be sure to go ahead and accept that message of your pictures and show your art in the next video as well. If you guys create original character art outside of the superhero realm, then I'd like you guys to send that to me as well via email so that I can go ahead and put that up in another redraw episode. Last redraw I did was for Gianna Vargas, so if you guys want to be a part of this redraw series, go ahead, submit in your art for me to redraw, and hopefully we'll see it here on this channel in the near future. So without further ado, guys, let's get started with this video and spin those wheels. Alright guys, so after doing a few sketches, this is the one that I ended up staying on. When I was thinking of Power Suit, I originally thought of Iron Man and Blue Beetle. Those were like two of the big ones that kind of came to mind. Iron Man for obvious reasons, and then Blue Beetle because his suit kind of changes with him and it still looks a little bit more humanistic than Iron Man to me. But ultimately, I don't know where my head kind of went, but I was thinking Mega Man, and I think that's pretty much the inspiration that I drew from for like the pose, the chunky arm, and or chunky fist, and the big old legs. I was really kind of happy with that thought process because I think it's something that hasn't been done in a while, at least for me. I haven't done a Mega Man picture in a minute. And then somehow when I was creating this character, I was thinking like Hawkeye with the face and the mask, but kind of wanted to give him a crown. I don't know, I was kind of feeling a crown when I was going through my original like preliminary sketches. And then if you've seen My Hero Academia, you know Gran Torino has like a scarf that he kind of wears around him. So for some reason I mashed that in there. Not entirely sure where all of this was going, but it's really where my head was at when I was kind of sketching and trying to figure out this particular superhero. So a human and Power Suit, and I really wanted to mesh the two as well together as I possibly could, right? So once I had my roughs in, I went ahead and started doing my inking, and I was trying to figure out a cool way to do this mask. I really wanted to do a lot of blacks in it, a lot of heavy, deep shadows and inks, as if I was inking it traditionally. So I'll go a little heavy with it, and you'll see it as I go through it, especially in the face. I think the face is where I do the most of it. And I don't know where I came up with this V logo thing from, so I'm assuming the superhero's name's got to start with the letter V. So if that makes your life slightly harder in naming this character in the comment section, I apologize. I don't know where the V came from. It just looked like it fits so well. You'll see on his gauntlet, I kind of do this thing where I kind of create this Omnitrix looking thing from Ben 10, because it was like one of those shows that I really enjoyed as a kid. So I definitely put in the Omnitrix there, or a version of one. It could be kind of like Stark's little pulsar thing. It could be like energy coming throughout it. I don't know. It's just what I stuck on. It looked kind of cool, so I'm kind of happy with it. I ultimately keep this scarf. Gran Torino inspiration. Again, I was just kind of working off the cuff here, and it's kind of what I came up with. I don't really know what I'm doing here on the sides. It seems like a Doc Ock type of thing from like Spider-Man. Not sure where I was going with it. It stays in the final piece and the final design. I wish I would have pushed it like the ones on our right but his left. Yeah, see how I pushed that back? I wish I pushed it further back. But you know, that's just me being nitpicky. And since I was doing like an Iron Man inspiration, I don't know, like that underwear area in the pelvic region, I just kind of kept it looking loose for the most part. Didn't like how these came out, so you'll see that like I'll erase the entire thing in a minute. I really like this clobbering hand. It kind of makes me think of like a strong left punch from like Frankie from One Piece, or just like a big bulky fist from that class. I think it's like 1B or 2B character from My Hero. I think her name's Battle Fist or Big Fist. Not entirely sure. I'm sure I'll figure that out later. Or you guys will let me know in the comment section down below. But I was thinking about a giant fist for punching, and then the other arm could be the one that kind of shoots out like pulsar type of things, or repulsor tech, or reactor tech, whatever you want to call it. As long as it shoots an energy blast, that's pretty much what I was aiming for. As you can see, like when I was kind of detailing his body in the suit, you can see why I wanted to push those little things off to the left a little bit further, or to the right a little bit further, his left, our right. Yeah, I didn't like the boots. I don't know why. I was trying to mess around with them. They weren't looking well. I don't even think I really hit it when I was done inking the legs. So I think it's kind of a weak point in this image. I think the fingers on the fist with the little Omnitrix on it, those should have been a little bit smaller, or I should have done a different type of pose with it, because the fingers are kind of wonky. But ultimately, I kind of like how the stance is. I'm just not positive on all the execution. But again, doing this type of superhero mashup is supposed to be fun, and I definitely did enjoy myself. And I think you can kind of tell in the final piece like that I was having a little bit of fun with the look, because a lot of it kind of brings like some nostalgia to me with like the Mega Man, and some of it's just fun with like the thinking of like Gran Torino with the scarf or the Hawkeye mask. So I was having a lot of fun when I was creating this character. I just don't think execution was correct, and that's all right. And I'm really excited to kind of see what you guys come up with for a human in a power suit. If it does look more like Iron Man, if it does look like a Blue Beetle, I definitely can't wait to see those. I was going a little line heavy and line crazy at the same time, so I had to just erase it and kind of start from scratch. I think the sketch underneath it wasn't great, and I knew it wasn't great, and I was just trying to force this fist in here, but it ultimately just not my favorite fist. But that's okay. I know I have something to work on the next ones. Just pay more careful attention to the hands and the placements and stuff like that when I do the next hero. So that was kind of like a nice little learning curve, right? There's the scarf. Trying to figure out what's going to make that scarf look good or make it pop out. Right, putting some lines in the clothes, some texture, extending that thumb a little bit, but kind of looks like tentacles on the hands, or like a gun. I don't know. They could be like finger bullets. I have no idea, right? And going into the coloring stage here, I was trying to think of like what would be some cool power suit colors, and I was really just thinking like the Gran Torino scarf had to be gold, had to be yellow, just like the regular Gran Torino one was. I threw in some red because it pays some homage to like Iron Man, and then the blue suit for Blue Beetle. So I was really putting in all my ideas here onto one piece. I didn't quite make it into the purple for Hawkeye, but I think I did use some purple for shading. So I guess that counts a little bit, right? So yeah, so here's my character. I'm using a gradient for the background. I was thinking I was gonna essentially just have him flying. So it looks like he's in a pose where he can kind of be flying. So I threw in some clouds, threw some color on the clouds, and then I start like blurring them out and blending them together, trying to make them pop. I used some effects to kind of make them glow in the background, so it kind of looked pretty interesting. And then I don't know why, but I kind of like shoved them out of the way with with a liquefy tool. So I thought that made it interesting. And then for the boots, I was hoping to have them like kind of like flying. Didn't want to like copy Iron Man 100%, but I did kind of make some flames and stuff coming out of it, because maybe it's just like old school stuff that's helping him kind of propel himself, right? Just trying some different effects here and there. I ultimately put like a line that kind of cast around him. I changed the color later, just to make him stick out from the background. And then I start trying to put in some highlights of things around like certain areas that I think are more metallic. At least that's what it begins to look like. I try to find the metallic areas, but then I was like, you know what? Let's just kind of put this everywhere we can. That makes sense. And I was trying to make sense out of it the whole time, because as you guys heard me say in plenty of episodes, I'm not a professional, so I don't know where the lighting might go. I have an idea of where the lighting might go, but I just kind of play it by feel, so like what feels right to me. And so what feels right to you might be a little bit different, but I had a place where I thought it belonged. I don't think it's 100%. Well, not even think. I know it's not 100% in the right areas, but I was having fun with it, and I don't think it took away from the picture ultimately at the end of it. Yeah, so here's the purple, right? So that's what I'm using for shading throughout the entire character, and then I'll change the opacity and whatnot later, so it kind of looks like a grayish or faded out color that looks like a legitimate shadow going all over any of the creases or any of the areas where the lines essentially touch each other. I just wanted to make sure like all that was present, right? Putting some shadow in the mask, kind of had like a Batman feel there. So I guess I'm just really mashing up heroes into one, which is kind of cool. Just kind of messing around with that area. Ended up coloring that whole thing in, trying to figure out the lines. I wasn't sure if I wanted shadow near the light, but then ultimately there are areas that are lit up that have shadow, so I wanted to make sure that was there. But yeah, we're kind of coming towards the end of it. I think we got about 60 seconds left. And so you'll see me kind of go through some lighting on that little Omnitrix looking thing. Wrist gauntlet, I don't know. I guess it kind of dictates the power that's going to come out of that finger gun or whatnot. I'm not entirely sure what that transforms into, but it is a power suit, so you got to believe it's got some incredible power to it, right? So ultimately, we're coming to a close here. This is going to be the character with a few additions, right? Because I needed to round out the face a little bit. But yeah, so there I am signing it. Here's the character. Please, in the comments down below, give him a name. He needs a name. He looks pretty cool. I had fun with him. I can't wait to see what your characters look like if you guys submit those into my email, or your original character artwork that you submit in for a redraw. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you guys have a good one. Bye-bye.